On May 10, 1973, Bruce Lee, a top superstar in martial arts and a legendary Hong Kong-American actor, suddenly fell into a coma while recording voiceovers for the film Enter the Dragon. He was immediately rushed to the hospital, where doctors initially diagnosed him with seizures and severe headaches. Later, they determined that Bruce Lee had suffered from brain edema, swelling of the brain. He was treated with medication and care that quickly reduced the complications, and soon after, he recovered and was discharged from the hospital. However, just 2 months later, the world was shocked by the news that Bruce Lee had passed away unexpectedly at only 32 years old. For many, his films were a part of their childhood, and the image most deeply etched in people's memories is Bruce Lee in his iconic yellow jumpsuit holding nunchaku. His sudden death at such a young age sparked numerous questions and suspicions, mysteries that remain unsolved to this day. Countless theories have been proposed, some more unbelievable than others, leaving fans wondering, why is Bruce Lee's death still considered a mystery? What exactly happened to this martial arts legend? Before we explore the mystery, let's briefly look back at Bruce Lee's life and the achievements that made his name resonate not only in China, but around the globe. At that time, Hong Kong cinema was facing a downturn, with no domestic films making a real impact. That changed in 1971 with the release of The Big Boss, starring Bruce Lee. The film broke box office records, grossing over HK $3 million, a feat no other movie at the time could surpass. In the film, Bruce Lee's character has a life-or-death fight against the factory boss, showcasing his lightning-fast kicks, aerial spins, and trademark battle cries. These elements instantly captivated audiences. In 1972, another Bruce Lee film, Fist of Fury, premiered and became an international sensation. The story follows Bruce Lee's character as he avenges his master's death, destroys a Japanese dojo sign declaring "Sick Man of Asia," and delivers a now iconic line, "The Chinese are not the sick men of Asia." This line ignited national pride and inspired countless viewers. The film grossed over $4 million and won a prestigious award at the 10th Golden Horse Awards. After experiencing earlier setbacks in the European market, Bruce Lee had now solidified his stardom. In the same year, he wrote, directed, and starred in The Way of the Dragon, the first Chinese film shot in Europe, specifically at the Colosseum in Rome. Once again, the film shattered box office records. In 1973, Enter the Dragon was released, a US-Hong Kong co-production that marked Bruce Lee's official return to Hollywood. The film not only changed Western perceptions of Asian actors, but also became a massive commercial success, earning more than $200 million worldwide on a budget of under $1 million. Bruce Lee revitalized the Chinese film industry and became a global icon. Martial arts schools sprung up everywhere, inspired by his image and philosophy. Sadly, 1973 was both the peak of Bruce Lee's career and the year the world mourned his loss. On July 20, 1973, Bruce Lee complained of a severe headache while at actress Betty Ting Pei's apartment, where they were discussing the upcoming film The Game of Death. Ting Pei gave him a painkiller called Equagesic, after which Bruce lay down to rest. When producer Raymond Chow arrived at 7:30 p.m. to join them for dinner, Bruce was still resting. At 8:30 p.m., Ting Pei checked on him and found him still asleep. At 9 p.m., she tried to wake him again, but he was unresponsive. She immediately called Raymond Chow, who rushed over and confirmed that Bruce Lee was unconscious. Ting Pei then called her personal doctor, who arrived around 10 p.m. Despite performing CPR and other resuscitation efforts, there was no response. At 11:00 p.m., Bruce Lee was taken to Queen Elizabeth Hospital, where doctors made further attempts to revive him. But at 11:38 p.m., Bruce Lee was pronounced dead. The next morning, on July 21, 1973, Bruce's wife Linda Lee Cadwell held a press conference announcing to the world that her husband had passed away peacefully, with his family by his side. However, discrepancies soon emerged between Linda's account and the medical records, which confirmed that Bruce had died at Betty Ting Pei's apartment, not at home. This revelation caused a media storm in Hong Kong and sparked outrage among fans. 3 years later, Betty Ting Pei gave an interview revealing her side of the story, describing her relationship with Bruce Lee and even sharing intimate details, which angered many fans who accused her of exploiting Bruce's death for fame. Linda Lee Cadwell later shared that she had turned a blind eye to Bruce's extramarital affairs, believing that he sought excitement and novelty rather than emotional betrayal. She also recounted their last day together, having lunch with their children before Bruce left for a script meeting and told her not to wait for dinner. She never imagined that would be the last time she would see him alive. Bruce Lee's sudden death remains one of the greatest mysteries in Hollywood and martial arts history, a tragedy that took away a global icon at the height of his fame. This shocking news threw all of Hong Kong into chaos. On July 24, 1973, Bruce Lee's body was transported from the hospital to the funeral home. Along the way, more than 30,000 fans came to pay their respects. On September 3, 1973, an official inquest into Bruce Lee's death was held with the agreement of 3 judges. According to the medical report, his brain had experienced severe swelling, and traces of a white powder were found in his stomach. However, the court determined that no illicit substances were responsible for his death, and that a healthy person would not have had such an extreme reaction to common painkillers. The autopsy concluded that Bruce Lee died from cerebral edema, brain swelling. But many people questioned this explanation, believing it was vague and incomplete. Even the autopsy report failed to clarify the exact cause of the swelling. The hospital's official report stated that the brain swelling was likely triggered by a painkiller Bruce had taken, which contained aspirin and meprobamate, a tranquilizer. But this remained only a hypothesis, as no further post-mortem investigation was carried out. This fueled suspicions that Bruce Lee's sudden death was anything but ordinary. The first theory centered on the painkillers, but this seemed unlikely, since Bruce had been taking this medication for quite some time without any severe side effects. Another theory came from fans who believed Bruce's body had been trained into a nearly superhuman condition. To them, it seemed impossible that a man as strong and disciplined as Bruce Lee could be brought down by a single tablet. Actor and martial artist Chuck Norris, Bruce's training partner and close friend, once commented that the real cause could indeed have been the medicine. He recalled that in 1968, Bruce had suffered a severe back injury during training and had to rely on muscle relaxants and painkillers. Chuck believed that Bruce's death might have been the result of adverse drug interactions, hospital-prescribed medications mixed with his own personal supplements. Another theory suggested that the extreme heat in Hong Kong contributed to his brain swelling. While filming The Game of Death, Bruce had to wear a heavy tracksuit under the blazing sun, which could have led to heat stroke or dehydration. Adding to the speculation, a U.S. newspaper reported on research by Spanish nephrologists, kidney specialists, who concluded that Bruce's death could have been caused by hyponatremia, a condition resulting from excessive water intake, which dilutes sodium levels in the blood and can lead to fatal brain swelling. On top of all these theories, there was a mysterious detail that made Bruce Lee's death even more haunting. His own words seemed to foreshadow it. On May 10, 1973, while recording voiceovers for Enter the Dragon, Bruce suddenly experienced vomiting, seizures, shortness of breath, and then fell into a coma. He was immediately taken to the hospital, where doctors diagnosed him with high fever and low blood pressure. 2 hours later, he regained consciousness and was discharged after his condition improved. Bruce later traveled to the United States for a full medical checkup, and the report stated that his health was completely normal. Relieved, Bruce stopped worrying about his health and threw himself back into work. While in the US, Bruce told his co-star John Saxon that there would never be anyone like him again. At the time, no one thought much of it. But after his passing, Saxon remembered the remark as if it had been a premonition. When Bruce returned to Hong Kong, he reportedly told director Lo Wei that he would not live as long as him. Another chilling foreshadowing of his fate. As for actress Betty Ting Pei, Bruce's sudden death did not entirely shock her. She knew his health had been fragile since childhood, and that his intense, almost obsessive training regime pushed his body to the limit. Bruce followed a strict routine, consumed high-protein shakes made from beef, 7 eggs, and milk, and took numerous vitamins, royal jelly, and ginseng to stay strong. Reports later suggested that Bruce had even undergone surgery to have his sweat glands removed, and he used a high-voltage Japanese muscle stimulation device that sent electrical currents through his muscles. Bruce believed 10 minutes with the machine was equivalent to 10 hours of regular training. After his death, this machine was banned in Japan, and an investigation revealed that its use could disrupt the body's neurological and physiological balance. From a scientific perspective, Bruce Lee's death might have been the result of multiple factors. The culmination of years of extreme training, medication, and physical strain. Still, decades after his passing, Betty Ting Pei remains one of the most criticized figures connected to Bruce's death, as many fans believe their idol had died while being with her, perhaps from overexcitement. Another theory that many people considered was that Betty Ting Pei may have intentionally given Bruce Lee painkillers. Her family was initially quite wealthy. Her grandfather was a general during the warlord era, and her uncle was the police chief of Beijing. After Bruce Lee's death, Betty continued filming without showing much concern for her lover. After facing intense public criticism, she chose to retreat from the entertainment world, turning to Buddhism and living a secluded life. In the end, we still do not know what truly happened that day. Only the people involved could ever fully understand. In addition to these theories, many have speculated about Bruce Lee's final movie, Game of Death, which tells the story of a strong-willed hero fighting his way up a 7-level pagoda to retrieve a priceless ancient treasure. After overcoming countless life-and-death battles, he finally reaches the top, only to be given a proverb that suggests life is merely a journey toward liberation. Eerily, Bruce passed away before the movie could be completed, which deepened the sense of mystery surrounding his death and left countless fans heartbroken. Another popular theory suggests that Bruce Lee may have been eliminated by the Triads, one of the most powerful organized crime groups in China and Asia at the time. Jean-Claude Van Damme, a martial artist heavily influenced by Bruce Lee, also supported this theory. Many martial arts fans believe that the conflict between Bruce Lee and the Triads had existed for a long time, going back to Bruce's youth. As a child, Bruce was frail and often bullied. His father worried for him and introduced him to Tai Chi. At 13, Bruce was beaten in a street gang fight and was humiliated. Determined to defend himself, he decided to study Wing Chun. At first, he found it boring and nearly quit. But after successfully defeating an opponent using a Wing Chun technique, he realized its value and became fully dedicated to training. Besides Wing Chun, Bruce studied many other fighting styles, seemingly absorbing techniques from every martial art he could find. However, there is an old saying: if you walk by the river long enough, your shoes will eventually get wet. One day, during a street altercation, Bruce injured the son of a triad boss. The gang subsequently targeted him. Realizing Hong Kong had become too dangerous, Bruce's father decided to send him to the United States in 1959. 2 years later, the king of martial arts enrolled in drama classes at the University of Washington and met his future wife, Linda. During his sophomore year, he opened a small martial arts school in a parking lot, teaching Westerners traditional Chinese martial arts. While in the US, he was exposed to various combat sports and began to develop the idea for a new martial art. He felt that karate lacked punches, judo lacked kicks, and traditional kung fu was too rigid and bound by rules. This led to the creation of Jeet Kune Do, a fighting philosophy combining the strengths of various styles. Jeet Kune Do emphasized practicality, efficiency, and directness. The goal was simply to end the fight as quickly as possible, ideally before the opponent could even strike. In 1964, Bruce Lee was invited as a guest performer at the International Karate Championships in California. He stunned the audience with his lightning-fast punches. There, he met Jun Rhee, the father of American Taekwondo, and the two became close friends, exchanging techniques. Bruce taught Rhee his legendary punches, while Rhee taught Bruce advanced kicking techniques. However, Bruce's rising fame also attracted rivals. In August 1965, Bruce received a challenge letter from a highly skilled martial artist who practiced Xing Yi Quan. Along with several other Chinese masters, this man was displeased that Bruce was teaching martial arts to non-Chinese students. The letter stated clearly that if Bruce lost, he must stop teaching Westerners. According to Linda Lee, Bruce defeated his opponent in about 3 minutes, but was dissatisfied with his performance, saying he should have ended the fight sooner. Bruce was invited again to perform at the 1967 International Karate Championships, where he shocked audiences even more, this time demonstrating 2-finger push-ups and his famous 1-inch punch, which sent the demonstrator flying several meters backward. That same day, Bruce also sparred with Master Wong Jack Man. Bruce claimed that if Wong could even touch his hands, Wong would be the winner. Wong struggled to land a hit, and even the cameras had difficulty capturing Bruce's movements. Later, however, Wong Jack Man claimed in an interview that he had successfully blocked Bruce's punch, and that Bruce's style was more for show than for real combat. In a separate interview, when Jackie Chan was asked who would win in a fight between him and Bruce Lee, Jackie replied, "Let Bruce Lee win," implying that Bruce's status was so great that it was better to simply let him have the victory. This tension between Bruce and other martial artists in the Chinese community fueled speculation that his death was a form of underworld retribution. Another version of events suggests that Bruce may have been fatally injured during filming. According to this theory, he was struck on the head by another actor, not just any actor, but an assassin from the criminal underworld who was skilled in striking deadly pressure points. The theory claims that the blow caused damage to Bruce's central nervous system, leading to a slow and undetectable death. Some go even further, claiming that Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee, was also killed as part of this shadowy feud. Brandon died tragically at the age of 28 while filming The Crow. In a scene where his character was shot, a real bullet fragment from a previous scene had become lodged in the gun barrel. When the gun was fired again, the fragment was propelled like a live round, striking Brandon in the abdomen and fatally injuring him. This coincidence led many to suspect that Brandon, like his father, had been targeted, a warning to anyone attempting to leave the criminal world. According to these theories, anyone trying to wash their hands of the underworld must face a brutal reckoning first. Even so, these remain only theories. Neither Bruce Lee's nor Brandon Lee's friends or colleagues have been able to confirm them. To this day, Bruce Lee's cause of death remains one of the greatest mysteries in popular culture. What is certain is that Bruce Lee left behind far more than questions. He left behind unforgettable films, the revolutionary martial art of Jeet Kune Do, and timeless quotes such as, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." Perhaps this mindset, his relentless dedication to mastery, is what made Bruce Lee a legend. So, what do you think about Bruce Lee's mysterious death and the theories surrounding it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future true crime and mystery videos. See you in the next one.